Welcome to Crime Story with Camila, where we dive deep into the most chilling and mysterious true crime cases. If you love real-life crime stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you the most in-depth investigations and untold stories. Munich, a city known for its rich history and cultural vibrancy, was shaken by a horrifying act of violence on February 13, 2025. A peaceful trade union rally turned into chaos when a speeding vehicle plowed through the crowd, leaving dozens injured. But what made this attack even more shocking was the identity of the suspect, an Afghan fitness influencer with thousands of followers online. How did a man who built his reputation on discipline and fitness commit such a heinous act? And what was his true motive? In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the Munich attack, dissecting the life of Farhad Noori, the man behind the wheel. We'll explore his rise to social media fame, his past, and the disturbing signs that might have gone unnoticed. Was this an act of extremism, a mental breakdown, or something else entirely? Stay with us as we unravel the truth behind this tragic event. Farhad Noori was born in 2001 in Kabul, Afghanistan. Growing up in a country plagued by conflict and instability, he was part of a generation that experienced the direct impact of war, political upheaval, and economic hardship. His early years remain largely undocumented, but like many Afghan youth, he likely faced limited opportunities for a stable future. In late 2016, at the age of 15, Noori arrived in Germany as an unaccompanied minor seeking asylum. This was during a period of heightened refugee migration into Europe, following the 2015 crisis, when Germany opened its borders to hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers, particularly from war-torn regions like Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Despite his efforts to claim asylum, his request was ultimately denied. However, instead of being deported, he was granted a temporary residence permit, which allowed him to live and work legally in Germany. This permit, known as a Duldung, tolerated stay, is often issued to individuals who cannot be deported due to unstable conditions in their home country. After arriving in Germany, Noori settled in Munich, where he gradually built a life for himself. He learned the German language, pursued education, and eventually found employment. To many, he appeared to be an example of successful integration, working, staying out of trouble, and contributing to society. After settling in Munich, Farhad Noori took various jobs to support himself. One of his most notable positions was as a store detective, responsible for preventing theft in retail stores. This job required discipline and observation skills, traits that also helped him develop a passion for fitness and bodybuilding. Noori's interest in fitness soon became an obsession. He spent hours training in the gym, sculpting his body into competition-ready shape. His dedication paid off in 2024 when he competed in the Bavarian Bodybuilding and Fitness Championship, securing 4th place. While he didn't win, his participation alone showcased his commitment to the sport and his growing reputation in the bodybuilding community. With a muscular physique and a disciplined lifestyle, Noori began sharing fitness-related content on social media. His Instagram page quickly gained traction, amassing over 68,000 followers, while his TikTok account reached more than 32,800 followers. He posted workout routines, diet tips, and motivational content, positioning himself as an emerging fitness influencer in Germany. Although most of his posts focused on fitness, some contained religious themes. Noori occasionally referenced his faith in Islam and posted messages that hinted at a strong, if not extreme, personal ideology. While nothing overtly alarming stood out at the time, authorities are now re-examining his online presence to determine whether there were early signs of radicalization that went unnoticed. The attack took place on February 13, 2025, at approximately 10:30 a.m. near Munich's central train station, at the intersection of Dachauer Strasse and Seidelstrasse. The targeted location was the endpoint of a peaceful trade union rally organized by Ver.D, which had gathered around 1,500 participants advocating for workers' rights. Noori maneuvered around a police vehicle stationed at the event and suddenly accelerated into the crowd, striking multiple individuals. Eyewitnesses reported seeing people thrown into the air as the car plowed through the gathering. Screams of terror filled the streets as the injured lay scattered on the pavement. The vehicle came to a halt after colliding with a barricade. Noori then exited the car, dropped to his knees, and reportedly began praying while shouting Allahu Akbar. Officers at the scene immediately rushed toward Noori, drawing their weapons and commanding him to surrender. A warning shot was fired, but Noori complied and was swiftly arrested. 36 people were injured, including protesters and bystanders. 8 to 10 people sustained severe injuries, some in critical condition. Among the wounded was a 2-year-old child who required immediate resuscitation at the scene. Emergency medical teams rushed to the scene, treating the injured and transporting the most critical cases to nearby hospitals. Law enforcement sealed off the area, evacuating the remaining protesters and conducting an initial sweep for additional threats. Due to the upcoming Munich security conference, which was set to begin the following day, security measures in the city were immediately heightened. The attack, occurring in broad daylight in one of Germany's most heavily monitored areas, left authorities, political leaders, and the public in shock. It also sparked immediate concerns about terrorism, radicalization, and Germany's immigration policies. Following Farhad Noori's arrest at the scene, German authorities immediately launched a full-scale investigation into the attack. The Federal Criminal Police Office, BKA, and Bavarian State Police took charge of the case, working alongside counterterrorism units to determine Noori's motives and any possible affiliations with extremist groups. Authorities began analyzing Noori's social media presence, including his Instagram, TikTok, and private messaging history. While most of his posts were fitness-related, investigators found that some contained religious themes and messages hinting at ideological beliefs. Security officials are exploring whether Noori had been radicalized, either through online extremist content or local contacts in Germany. Noori had no prior convictions, and there were no previous indications that he posed a direct threat to public safety. However, authorities are re-examining past complaints and reports related to his behavior. Investigators are also considering whether personal struggles, social isolation, or mental health issues played a role in his decision to carry out the attack. Possible motive. Given his reported religious statements at the scene, officials are investigating whether Noori's attack was an act of jihadist terrorism. His background, online activity, and any connections to known extremist networks are being closely examined. Some investigators believe Noori may have acted out of frustration with his life situation, including immigration struggles, career setbacks, or personal grievances. Psychologists are assessing whether Noori suffered from mental instability that could have influenced his actions. The attack has sparked debates about immigration policies, with some German politicians calling for stricter monitoring of asylum seekers and temporary residents. Intelligence agencies across Europe are now reviewing potential security risks from individuals with similar backgrounds to prevent further attacks. The Munich Security Conference, scheduled for the following day, heightened security measures, with extra law enforcement deployed across the city. As the investigation unfolds, the German government and security agencies are under immense pressure to provide answers and prevent future incidents like this from occurring. In the aftermath of the attack, German authorities acted swiftly to ensure public safety and address rising concerns. Key actions included law enforcement heightened security across Munich, particularly around high-risk areas such as train stations, government buildings, and large public gatherings. The Federal Criminal Police Office, BKA, and Bavarian State Police launched a comprehensive investigation, working with intelligence agencies to determine Noori's background and any possible ties to extremist groups. Authorities reviewed cases of individuals with similar profiles to identify potential threats and prevent further attacks. Germany will not tolerate such acts of violence. Anyone who threatens the safety of our citizens will face the full force of the law. Our security agencies are working tirelessly to investigate this case, and those responsible will be held accountable. Scholz also reaffirmed Germany's commitment to security and counterterrorism efforts, ensuring the public that law enforcement would do everything possible to prevent future incidents. The attack ignited a heated political debate over issues such as immigration, radicalization, and called for stricter immigration controls, arguing that the attack was a result of failed integration policies. Demanded immediate deportation for asylum seekers or residents involved in criminal activities. Some politicians from Alternative for Germany, AfD, labeled the attack a direct consequence of Germany's open-door policy, condemned the attack, but warned against blaming entire communities for the actions of an individual, emphasized the need for better social integration programs and stronger de-radicalization efforts, stressed that mental health issues should also be considered in the investigation. International reactions. Expressed solidarity with Germany and pledged support in combating terrorism and radicalization. Announced joint security measures to prevent similar attacks, increasing intelligence sharing. The Afghan government distanced itself from Noori's actions, emphasizing that he was not representative of Afghan refugees. Many mourned the victims and called for better protection at public events. Some expressed anger toward immigration policies, fearing more such incidents could happen. Others urged calm and unity, warning against xenophobia and stigmatization of refugees. The Munich attack by Farhad Noori has left Germany in shock, raising urgent questions about national security, radicalization, and immigration policies. The violent nature of the incident, occurring in broad daylight at a public protest, has reignited debates over how Germany monitors potential threats and prevents lone wolf attacks. Authorities are continuing their investigation, looking into Noori's personal history, motives, and possible radicalization, while political leaders scramble to address security concerns without fueling division. The incident has also intensified international cooperation on counterterrorism efforts, with European nations reinforcing intelligence sharing and surveillance strategies. For the victims and their families, the attack has left a deep wound, with survivors facing long-term physical and psychological trauma. Public sentiment remains divided. Some call for tighter immigration laws, while others stress the need for better integration and de-radicalization programs. As Germany moves forward, one thing remains clear. This attack has left an indelible mark on the country's approach to security and social policy. Whether it leads to lasting reforms or political divisions will depend on how leaders and society respond in the weeks and months ahead.
Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, please subscribe.